Okay, there we are. Okay, so as Daniela said, my name is Cecilia Kramer. I'm the fellowship advisor of the School of Graduate Studies. We are also here, we have Catherine Belloso. She's the external award advisor of the School of Graduate Studies. So if you have questions about where should I apply, I'm eligible for this, what are my opportunities, you should contact Catherine. I will send you we will send this PowerPoint to you, so you will have her contact information. Or if you have any questions, you can do it in the chat. She will be here helping me and she will be answering many questions. Once you have decided which opportunity you will be applying, then you can come to me. I can help you through the whole process, how to improve the research proposal, how to find good reference letters. So all these things about how to apply for this, you can contact me. We can have a meeting one-on-one or just by email, however you feel more comfortable. So today we're going to be talking about the Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters. That's what we call CGS M. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. I'm going to have a quick competition overview. We're going to talk about what this opportunity is. Then we're going to go through the main elements of an application. We're going to talk about transcripts, Canadian Common CV, reference letters, and then I'm going to focus big part of the talk about the research proposal, how to write it, and what are the important aspects that we have to pay attention. And at the end, I'm going to give you an overview of how to navigate the system, how to actually be filling the application. Okay, so as I say, I will have question sections during the whole presentation, so don't be shy. I don't want this to be a monologue, so please use this space to really have all the questions answered, or at least as many as I can. So let's start with the competition overview. We know that the Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters is part of a tri-agency funding opportunity. The tri-agencies is a federal organization that funds research-based programs. So this is only for research-based programs. If you're in a master's, I don't know, Master of Engineering or MBA, that is a course-based program. So this opportunity is not for you, and I will advise you to talk to your graduate program director. But if you are in a master program with a research component, or you have to write a thesis, so this opportunity applies. So the tri-agencies are comprised by three different agencies: the Social Sciences and Humanities, that is called SSHRC, the Natural Science and Engineering, that is called NSERC, and the Canadian Institute of Health Research, CIHR. When you are applying for this opportunity, the CGS M, you do have to select one agency. You cannot apply to social sciences and NSERC, because then your application will be redeemed ineligible. So for those of you that are in the social sciences and humanities and arts, you should be applying to SSHRC. So SSHRC is attended to all these research. There is like how we think, how we live, how we interact with each other and the world. For natural sciences and engineering, the application should go to the NSERC. Okay, so this is all about engineering, natural sciences, biology. And then finally, CIHR. CIHR is they are going to be funding all the research that is primarily in the health sector, how we improve the Canadian healthcare system, how we, I don't know, create effective services and products of health. So some masters, their research project, they are very, very clear where you should be applying. So for example, engineering, there might be NSERC, but some of them, for example, psychology, the research can fit in both SSHRC and CIHR. So it's very, very important for you to take some moment and think, what's the outcome of your research? Is your research more about society or more about health? So that's where your application should go. So you can come to me, we can talk about your research, and we can decide which one of these agencies is the most appropriate to you. We are going to talk a bit more about this in the future, but it's not that these three agencies, they have different portals. You will be applying through the same portal with the same things, and then you will have to check SSHRC, NSERC, or CIHR. Okay, that's the only thing that you will have to do, but you have to decide beforehand where you're going to be sending the application. As we all know, the value this year is 27,000. Last year was 17. So starting this year, the agencies increased the values to 27,000 for 12 months. And it's non-renewable. It's only for 1 year. It must be held at the university that has made the offer. I will talk about this in a second. The application deadline for this opportunity is December 1st at 8 p.m. and the application goes through the research portal. I'm going to show you about the research portal in a second. And the results about this funding opportunity, we will have it around April. Here I put April 1st, but this is around April. I think last year was more like mid-April. So during the research portal, you will receive a message if you get selected or not. Just for you to have an idea, this is just information that you may want to have. This CGS M has quotas. It means that in the whole Canada, there are 3,000 CGS M, but the government allows to Concordia to have a specific amount of scholarships. For CIHR, we only have 4. For NSERC, we have 14, and for SHERC, we have 42. This doesn't imply anything to you, but it's just for you to have an idea of how competitive this opportunity is. Eligibility, you have to be Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or protected person. So if you are an international student, this doesn't apply to you. So you should be thinking about FRQ, Fonds de Recherche du Québec, or the PBEEE. These are all opportunities that they are allowing international students to apply, but the deadline has already passed. So if you are interested in those opportunities, I invite you to go to the website in Concordia to think about this for next year. As I say, the program of study has to be eligible, so it has to be having a significant research component. And it says enroll in or have applied or will apply. So you can apply for these opportunities even before starting or even before applying to the program and in the first year. So from 0 to 12 months of full-time studies. I'm going to talk about this a bit more in a second. And as an academic standard, you have to have a 3.7 or an A minus for the last 2 completed years of study or a full-time equivalent. This might sound confusing, but basically what you have to do, like if you're studying the master and you graduated from your bachelor, then you will count the last 2 years in terms of credits, how many credits you're moving backwards if you're doing a part-time study, for example, and then you count how many A's, how many B's, so that's your GPA. So you have to have around 3.7. This is not a hard rule. If you have 3.65, that should be okay too. But if your GPA is around 3, 2.9, 3.1, then your chances are getting lower. Okay, so let's talk about the main elements of the application. Here I created a checklist for you to have. So this is everything that you will need to apply for this scholarship. The application online, that is through the research portal. We're going to talk about that. The summary of the proposal, that is a lay abstract, that we're also going to talk about that. An outline of the proposed research, that is 1 page. You have to write what you're going to be doing as a research in the master's, and a bibliography, that is 1 page also. We're going to talk about transcripts, 2 reference letters that we call them also reference assessments. You also need the Canadian Common CV. And this is optional, but we're also going to talk about that, a special circumstances letter. Okay, so this is everything that you will need to apply for this funding opportunity. The first thing that I want you to pay attention that is not in the checklist is about the selection criteria. Okay, so I want you to start thinking about the first steps that you need to do when you're applying, not only for this one, but for all the competitions, that all the grants or scholarships is check the selection criteria. It's like, what are these organizations are looking for? You can find them on the website. I will give them to you right here in this presentation, but please take the time to read them, because every reviewer that will be reviewing your application will have them open right next to it. And they will be checking all these things if your application fulfill all these requirements. Okay, so if you make the reviewers' job easier, then they will be happier and they will rank you higher. So identify all these criteria that are looking and try to add them in your application. So basically, they're going to be weighting your academic excellence. That is 50% of your ranking. These are things that maybe you cannot change right now because it's already happened, like your academic record, how many A's, how many B's, scholarships and awards that you held, the duration of your previous studies, the type of program. So all those things basically is from your transcripts, and you're not going to be able to change them right now. But if you're applying maybe next year, there's something that you can think of like highlighting or improving in the next year. The other thing that are going to be paying attention is the research potential. This is 30%. So here I give you quality and originality of the contributions to research, the relevance of the work that you're doing, the significance, the judgment and ability to think critically, ability to apply skills and knowledge, initiative, autonomy, independence, and research experience and achievement. The third thing that they're going to be looking for is personal characteristics and interpersonal skills. The work experience, leadership experience, project management, ability or potential to communicate, involvement in academic life, volunteering, community outreach. So many of these things are very clear where you're going to be focusing. For example, the quality originality of your work. Okay, that's you should highlight it in the research proposal. Your academic excellence is your transcript. But how about these things that are more about personal skills, like initiative, autonomy, and independence, ability to apply skills and knowledge, leadership experience? Where it's in the application that you can highlight all these things in the references. So as I say, your proposal is mainly two sections, the research proposal and your academic transcripts, and you have two references. And here is where it becomes super important, because your referees are the ones that are going to be able to talk about you. There's no other way in the application that you can talk about you and your personal characteristics. This only happens with your referees. So let's take some moment to understand why these reference assessments are so important and who is these people that you should be thinking in asking to be a referee. So for your application, you will need two reference letters. The first one, ideally, will be your current thesis supervisor if you have one. I know that many of you haven't started the program, or the program doesn't give you a supervisor in the first year. That's fine. Maybe you can start thinking about people in Concordia or people in the program that you think that may be a good supervisor. You can start connecting to them. Maybe a professor, someone, or if you did, I don't know, some internship, if you did some research assistantship, if you did some TA, like some professor that you think that has a good link with you and the research that you want to do and might be a good supervisor for you, this might be a good assessment. And the second one has to be sufficiently familiar with your research and other abilities. If you have done some research, I don't know, you have some research experience, you have done any volunteering or something like that, that would be awesome. Many students, they look for professors that they have, I don't know, good relationship. So try to find someone that really, really knows you. They will have to write 3 different things about you. So here I put you, this is in the website, but I want you to have it because this is the information that you should send to your referees when you're asking about a reference letter. So they will have to write about academic excellence, research potential, and the personal characteristics and interpersonal skills. And they will have to write like a nice paragraph. Okay. So this is work that they will have to put. And this is a lot of information that they may have about you that you want them to put in here. So academic excellence, skills, abilities, achievements, awards, experience. If we are talking about research potential, also awards, the experience contributions related to these criteria. So they really have to know you very in depth, I will say. So who can be a good reference letter? So try to think about these questions. Are they able to write me a strong reference letter? Do they know me? So if you're asking this to a professor that maybe you have like 2 classes with them, they don't know you. So they will write a very broad, a very vague reference letter, and that will play against you. So it's a good idea for you to start asking around, getting to know the people. Are they generally supportive, critical mentors? Are they well known in the field? So ideally, a good reference letter is coming from a person that is very well known from the field and they really, really know you. And from there, we can, okay, maybe someone that is well known in the field doesn't really know you, but they kind of know your work, and maybe we can be smart. And the other reference letter is someone that is not very well known in the field, but really, really knows you. So you do have those balance in there. You cannot ask a colleague, for example, someone that is starting a master. That's not very good in the view of the reviewers. You cannot ask, let's say you are in a lab group, you cannot ask for a PhD student. That's not high enough. We are looking for a professor, we are looking for supervisor, someone that has some weight. Help them to help you. So allow at least 4 weeks, right? So you should be thinking right now who your referee should be and should ask about this right now because the deadline is December 1st. So you can ask early on. When they say yes, send them everything. Send your CV, send the draft of your proposal, all these guidelines that I shared with you in the previous slide, they should have it. So something that you can also do if they don't really know you is offer ideas, right? They will really appreciate this because this is a lot of work that they have to do. So if you offer ideas of like, maybe you can mention my volunteer activities in this, or this and that, they will appreciate it. I always say the same, blame me, say that you did a workshop with me and you uh, that I say that this was a good idea, and then you create bullet points and you say, okay, Cecilia told me to emphasize in this and this and that. So really help them to make their life easier. As I always say, an okay reference letter is a bad reference letter. So try to put some effort in this. You can send like gently reminders. You can send set meetings with them to see if they want to talk about something, if they want to talk about your research. These people should read your research project. And at the end, if you get the award, send a thank you note. Even if you don't get it, also send a thank you note because these people are going to put the effort, they're going to put the time, and it's a nice start to start building these connections and all this networking that you want to get for your future. And okay, let's talk about transcripts and Canadian Commons DB. Okay, so there's a lot of information here. You can read it. I'm going to try to talk about what the things that you need. Transcripts. Transcripts from outside of North America must be official. And if they're not in English, they have to be translated and certified, okay? For the Canadian Graduate Scholarship, the Masters, we might be okay with unofficial. Yes, you can apply with unofficial transcripts from Concordia. My advice is that reviewers, they see with better eyes official transcripts, okay? So if it's not a hard thing for you to get official transcripts from Concordia, please get them. Now, outside Concordia, we will require official transcripts. So if you are coming to Concordia to do the master, but you graduated from U of T, we need official transcripts from U of T. So I will say, as a general rule, official transcripts. Okay. There are other opportunities for like the Fonds de Recherche du Québec, for example. The official transcripts are mandatory. Here, as I say, the Concordia official transcripts, we might accept them, but any other university, we do need official transcripts. And we do need official transcripts up to date. What does it mean? Up to date is that we need to see what's happening right now. So let's say you started your master's fall 2024. Okay, so you are registered in the program. So we need to see in the transcript that you are registered in the program. Even if you don't have any grades because the semester just started, we do need to have official transcripts from today. We need to see like fall 2024, the student has been like registered in the program. If you finish your bachelor in 2020 and you haven't applied to any masters, you are not in the university, that's okay. You apply with the transcript from your bachelor. Of course, there's nothing else to show in the fall 2024, right? You finish your bachelor 2020. Do you need to ask for another official transcript? No. If you already have the official transcript from your bachelor that finished in 2020 and nothing else happened in there, then that's it. You can use that. You don't have to ask for another transcript again. The other thing that I want to mention, if you're asking for Concordia official transcripts, you can ask them from the Student Center. Pick up is faster. So if you can pick up in person, I think it takes 3 to 5 days. Delivery takes like maybe 1-2 weeks. You will receive an envelope that it says not valid if opened by student. Don't pay attention to that because you do have to open it, you have to scan it, and you will have to upload it in the research portal. So all the transcripts that you will have to create one PDF and upload it in the portal. So I'm here granting you permission to open the transcript from Concordia, and it will remain valid. Any question on transcripts, you will need what is called the Canadian Common CV. The Canadian Common CV, for those of you that are not familiar, is a website, it's a portal. If you are staying in academia or you're doing research in Canada, this will become very resourceful because you can use it during your whole career. So every field that you are going to fill in this Canadian Common CV, it will stay there. So if you wrote a paper and you put it in there, in 10 years, I will come back to my Canadian Common CV and the information will still be there. So I send you here the link. So the first thing is create an online account. And for the CGS M application, you have to select Canadian Common CV Master's Template. If you have already started filling things in the Canadian Common CV with a different template, don't worry, because as I say, all the information that you add in your account will stay there. It's just the template that it changes. Add everything. At this point, the Canadian Common CV Masters template, they allow you to add everything. Even if you don't think that is relevant to the research that you're doing right now, I don't care. If you have done volunteering, I don't know, picking apples in Switzerland, add it, okay? Because they're all showing some different aspects of you. Maybe this is silly, but this tiny question mark that I will show you where it is extremely helpful. And even sometimes students come to me, it's like, hey, where do I put this? I go and click the question mark because I don't remember all the fields that the Canadian Common CV has. So this will help you to understand where are you putting your exhibition, where are you putting your publication, where the conference that you did internationally has to go. So please use it. This is how the website looks like. So the first thing that you will have to do is to create a new account to register if you haven't done it. Once you are in the register, so here in the CV section, you have to create funding CV. And in the funding source, you have to click in CGS Masters. And the CV type is CGS Masters. You have different funding sources for applying for different applications, but the one that you have to look for is CGS Masters. And once you have this, the website looks like this, then you load. And once you load, then all the fields are going to appear to you, and you're going to be able to start filling all of them. There are a lot. So I would recommend you to start doing it as soon as possible, okay? And they're asking you a lot of things. They're asking you a lot of details. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. So take the time, read it. I don't know, if you are an artist and you spend 10 years working, doing exhibitions, then you will have a lot of work to do here because they will ask you every exhibition, every detail. If you have done industry work for the last, I don't know, 5 years, they will ask you all this work employment, they will ask you all these things. So if you have nothing to do today in the afternoon, I will advise you to start creating the Canadian Commons CV. So once you fill all the fields, you click submit. And once you submit, this is how it looks like. Your CV has been submitted, the confirmation number is, and they give you a number. So keep that number because you will need it to apply for the CGS M. The way that you are connecting your Canadian Commons CV and your CGS M application is with that number, okay? So screen capture, you can come back later and you can get that number, but we will see later how you will have to add it in your CGS M application. So special circumstances letter. So someone asked me like, okay, I have a bad grade and it turned my GPA down a lot. Can I explain it? Yes, you can explain it in the special circumstances letter. This is optional. This doesn't mean that you have to fill it, but the agencies, they do require the reviewers to take into consideration these special circumstances that may have affected your research, the career, your academic records, your research achievements, or whatever. You have 5,000 characters to write. I think it's like a page or almost a page. So they will ask you, do you have any special circumstances to take into consideration that might have affected your research, professional career, record of academic or research and achievement, or completion of degrees? So it's very, very broad. So if you click yes, then you have a paragraph that you can explain why and what happened. It can be anything. It can be how someone told me, like something happened and the grades were low. Explain it. It can be that, I don't know, parental leave and you have to take a year of maternity leave, or you were taking care of a relative, so the pressure and the stress, I don't know, they impact your grades. I think I put yes. So sorry, it's not maximum one page, sorry here, but all these things, administrative responsibilities, health problems, disabilities, COVID, any gap that you may want to explain. You did a bachelor 20 years ago and now you're starting your master. Explain that to me. Why that gap between your studies? Because what they take as normal is you finish your CEGEP, you finish your bachelor, you're starting your master. If you did a bachelor and then you did another bachelor and now you're doing a master, that's something that you can explain why. If you did a bachelor and then you took 10 years working in the industry and now you're coming back for a master, you can explain that. If you did a bachelor and master's and now you're doing another master's, you can explain that. Everything that you're writing here, try to explain it in a way that really like looks like you are achieving something, that you overcame some challenge. So for example, if you have some, I don't know, health problems and your GPA was low, but then you were able to go back on track, you were able to, like you're healthy now, you're good, you're in a good position, you are a responsible student, and now you're ready to overcome everything and you're ready to start your master's. So really try to put the mindset in that. Everything that happened, hey, but look where I am right now. I'm doing a master's and my grades are great. I'm completely committed to this. So really, really everything that you're explaining, try to tweak it in a way that sounds positive. Okay? Okay, so the research proposal. So we already talked about the transcripts, the Canadian Common CV, and the reference letters. Those are the major things about the proposal. And the other major thing is the research proposal. And this is where you will have to spend more time working on. Because as a master's student or someone that wants to start the master's, you might be a bit confused and you don't know even when to start. So the proposed research is maximum 1 page and 1 page of bibliography. Bibliography or citations or references, this is how we like to call it, they have to be in text citations. So everything that you're putting in the research proposal and you are citing some work or some author, it will become your bibliography. Okay, so you have 1 page on that. So you will have to describe the detail proposed research project you expect to do during your master. This is very important. It is not set in stone. It can change in the future. No one is asking you to give a full layout of what your research is going to be. Why? Because many of you haven't even applied to a program. Many of you are applying to 2 or 3 different universities. So of course, whatever you are proposing, it will have to fit with the supervisor that you will have, with the program that you will have. So it's not set in stone, but of course, if you're applying with a research project that is about, I don't know, biology or psychology, then you cannot do a master's in arts. No, it has to be in the same field. It has to kind of have some like coherence, but it's not set in stone. It has to be specific without being too jargon. So this has to be understood by everyone. This is different from the summary of the proposal. We're going to talk about the summary of the proposal that you have to write. I will send you, after I finish, I will send you something that I created, the research proposal, a guide to your first draft, that it will help you to get things in place, to try to organize all your ideas, to start creating your research proposal. What happens if you don't have a supervisor or even a research idea? The first thing is, do not panic. There are many of you in the same position, and this is the exercise that these agencies are trying for you to do. So what do you do if you do not have a supervisor or a research idea? So start researching. This is the moment for you to start looking professors, researchers, programs that you think they're interested. Think about the field that you want to do your master's and the research that you want to do. Think about websites, the classes that you have done, something that really, really inspires you, and start reading. Start doing the research of the research that you want to do. Papers, books, get inspired. In Concordia, now it's down, but I think it's gonna be back in a few weeks. The Explore Concordia, that is a website that you can put keywords like, I don't know, ecology, and you will have all the professors in Concordia that are working in ecology. So that will be my first goal. I will be like clicking and reading and what's the professor, what is it doing? Let's see this paper and start creating an idea. This might seem a bit overwhelming if you don't have a supervisor, but I would suggest it for you to use me. You can book a meeting with me and it's like, okay, I have this idea. And then I will start making questions and we can start like brainstorming and put the ideas in paper and try to create this research proposal. The most important aspect that the people are looking for here in the CGS M is it's not really about the research per se. It's more about you, the integrity. So who are you as a student and a person? The critical thinking, like, can you actually develop a research question? And this research question makes sense and is good. And the feasibility. I put here, shoot for the stars, but as long as you can make it happen. Like, you cannot give me a research proposal that can take 10 years to fulfill. because it's not feasible. Okay, you cannot give me a research proposal that is working with an MRI machine that is in Toronto. No, like how are you gonna go to Toronto? How are you gonna get this MRI machine? Do you know how to use an MRI machine? How are you gonna get the participants? So really try to make it compelling but feasible. As I say, this is one page and one extra page of references. And these are the things that they have to have. We're going to talk more in detail about each of this, but the research should have to have a background. The background is going to give me the why the research is important, why is the research needed. And the background is going to come follow with objectives, sometimes a hypothesis, sometimes a theoretical approach. But those some of these things that have to be here and a research question. And that should follow a methodology. You have to tell me how you're gonna be carrying on this and the significance. The significance is something that many students miss, but it's basically the results, the contribution to the field, and what will be the wider society benefits. We're going to talk more in detail about that. And finally, citations during the whole page of the research proposal, you have to have in-text citations. You can get creative. For example, use bold to highlight some sections of the proposal, underlines, italics. Something that we don't want to see when we are reading research proposals is like one full page of writing, like a blog. This is very daunting. This is very overwhelming for a reviewer. So try to use underlines, context, background, methodology, underline, and then, okay, this makes more sense. I can read it. I have templates of past last year's awardees that I can share with you. I have those templates for you to have an idea of like how they kind of should look like. For those of you that are maybe an MFA, the MFA, the CGS M, it is allowing for these kind of research creation projects. So the MFA is a course-based program, but the outcome is a research creation project. So the CGSM allows this, allows all this kind of research that combines creative and academic research practices. You may not have a thesis outcome, but you may have an exhibition. So all these things like, I don't know, visual arts, creative writing, film, video, performance art, they do accepted as part of as a research or CGSM. My advice when you start writing is to write and write and write. And if you come and work with me, I will ask a lot of questions. And why am I doing this? Is because I want you to talk about your research. So something that you can start doing by yourself. You can start like, I don't know, grab a friend, go for a coffee and talk about the research that you want to do. When you are talking, the information flows in the brain in a different way. So maybe you have an amazing idea, you want to put it in paper, but once you talk about this, it's like, this was not so great. So talk and talk. And what I was doing when I was writing my proposals, like I was using my phone and creating audio notes. So then I was listening to me, and the way that we express our things in words are were different than we express it when we're writing. So that would be for me my main advice. And all the materials, they have to be clear, concise, coherent, and compelling. So basically, clear. Everyone says a friend should be able to read it. That is not true. A colleague should be able to read it. Okay. So maybe someone that is in the field, maybe someone that is starting a master with you, maybe someone that just did your undergrad with you, someone at that level should be able to understand your proposal and should be able to mark things that are hard to read or hard to understand. That's the people that we need to avoid to be very jargony. So if you're writing a proposal and it has all technicalities and someone is reading it, it's like, I don't follow, I don't understand, then we have a problem. It has to be concise, respect the page, the word, and the margin limit, balance the weight. So if you have one page to write a research proposal, you cannot give me 3/4 of a page of introduction or background, because then I'm missing the methodology, I don't understand the significance, and you don't have space to write about it. Has to be coherent, why you're doing this, how you're going to be doing it, what and when. Okay. And it has to be compelling. You have to convince me that you are the right person with the right questions, with the right tools, in the right ways, with the right researchers at the right institution. So highlight this section because all those things, they have to convince me when you're writing the research proposal. These are the guidelines that they show in the CGM in the research portal. So body text, 12 points Times New Roman. If you are putting the Times New Roman font in 11, I can read it. I know. I've been reading so many applications that I know. So please don't try to fold them. This is 12 points, single space, and the margins are 3/4. Okay? You have to do a PDF. So all these things, they show up in the research portal once you are uploading the document. All the guidelines, they show up here. So please pay attention to that. And let's talk about a bit more in depth what the research proposal has to have. This is from a paper, and I want you to have this idea when you're writing the research proposal. Seasoned reviewers will admit to making up their minds on the very first page of the proposal. I think in your case will be in the very first lines, and rarely change their posture as they read the rest of the document. Okay, so my advice is start with a strong statement. Okay, you have to grab the reviewer attention from the beginning. As soon as they read it, the first 2 sentences have to have a very impactful meaning, and it has to have already an idea of the research proposal. Okay, so after this sentence, you can give me some more context, give me some more ideas of what's happening right now in the world with this problem that we're having. Okay, any ideas that will help set up your work as important. I always say that avoid opening many windows, avoid bringing up ideas that are not addressed. So you may be writing about a lot of things, but you only have to keep the things that will help me to understand what you're going to be doing. Okay, you only have 1 page, so this is very, very critical. My advice, write, and then you will start editing. Once you have the methodology and once you have the significance all set in place, then you might come back to the context and, okay, I don't need this. Okay, this information, no, it's not needed. Okay, this information, maybe I have to explain a bit more that. So as of now, just write everything that you need. And the context, I always say this, the context starts here and narrow it down. So I start very big, I start bold, and then I narrow it down to my research question. The research question is the problem that your proposal is aiming to address. Okay? So it has to be clear, it has to be focused, and in my opinion, there's no harm in saying like my research question, and you can even bold it because the research question is what's going to help me to understand not only why this is important, but also like what are you trying to achieve with the methodology that is going to continue on this. So again, it has to be clear, focused, specific, that guides the direction and scope of your study. Okay, it provides a foundation for developing the research design, the methodology, and the analysis. So you can mention like the problem, my research question is this, and then you can like narrow it down a bit more or kind of like split it to tell me your objectives. So your objectives is more about like how you're going to be answering that research question. The research question is huge. So maybe to answer this, I will be doing this, and this. Okay, so aim 1, aim 2, aim 3. I will create different objectives that they will help me to answer the research question, right? Some cases you may need a hypothesis, many cases no. And I think more and more the researchers are trying to avoid creating like strong hypotheses because many research is exploratory and you don't need a hypothesis. Okay, if you have it, please put it. But if you don't have it, don't stress about it. I think the objectives are way more important. Uh, my advice also is like you have a big research question. Okay, then I can give you 2 or 3 smaller objectives. So I don't know, I want to study, I don't know, the importance of having pets. So my aim one is okay, I will measure how many people they have pets. That's my first objective. People have dogs, cats, or whatever. That's my second objective. So I will like kind of like break down all the information so I can answer my big question. Try to set up the questions in a way that I understood what's going to happen in methodology. So if you say aim 1, 2, and 3, it will be easier in methodology to explain for achieving objective 1, I will be doing this. For objective 2, I will be doing this. And at this level that you're doing a master, I 100% encourage you to do that because that will help you to get organized in how to write this. So after the objectives, you have, let's say, 1, 2, 3 objectives. Then we come to the methodology, how you're going to be doing this, how you'll be actually answering those objectives. So give me as many details as you can and as you please want. So what are the sources? How are you going to be doing this? Really, really specify the tools or the techniques that you're going to be using. You may not have to explain to me the tools per se because you cannot be very jargon, right? Like you cannot tell me like, I don't know, I'm going to be using this buffer pH 7 with this composition. No, but I want you to explain to me in a way that I understand that you understand what you're doing. So give me information, for example, if you're doing interviews. You cannot give me, oh, I'm going to be doing interviews. To whom, how many people, what kind of interview is going to be online, how you're going to be recruiting the participants, how you're going to be analyzing the data. So yes, you're doing interviews and that's it. No, you are taking the interviews, you are taking the information. I don't know, maybe you're going to be checking for keywords. Maybe you're going to be like narrow it down to different fields. Maybe you want to explore something specific. So the interviews are going to be open-ended or the interviews are going to be like a survey. So really, really give me the details. I don't know. Another example is like you're going to be using archives. From where? Concordia, Toronto, the museum, the art gallery, the archives. Like, do you have connections already that are going to allow you to use those archives? You're going to be reading things to extract what information. So I always say the methodology has to give me an idea of what's going to happen in the next 2 years with you. When I'm reading a methodology, I kind of have mentally an image of you. And if you're saying I'm going to be doing a lit review, this is not enough. I need to picture you in a desk with the books that you're going to be doing, like how the lit review is going to happen, what are the keywords that you're going to be focusing in, how you're going to be analyzing the data. And importantly, what's the outcome of this? What are you getting from this? Like, okay, you're going to do a list review, you're going to write a book, you're going to write a paper, you're going to, I don't know, um, create a new technique about something, you're going to be working, I don't know, in biology with some yeast. Like, give me the outcome that you're expecting from your research. So the methodology, be careful with the jargon. We still need the reviewers to understand what you will do, but more importantly, that you know what you will be doing. You have to convince me about that. And finally, after the methodology, the significance. So this outcome that I was talking is not only about the book per se, or the paper that you're going to be writing, or the thesis. I would like for you to circle back to this big picture of like, okay, I have this problem. My research is going to help to fix this problem. It's not only about the contributions that are going to happen in the field, but also outside the field, how your research is going to impact society. And more, these agencies are going to be focusing on that, are going to be focusing on research that has an impact in the community. So try to think outside the box, try to think outside academia. Another thing, I don't know, many times it happens I have students, I don't know, the outcome is a exhibition, an art exhibition. Okay, so what? Like you're doing an art exhibition. What are you expecting? What are you getting from that? I was like, well, I'm gonna do exhibition. Well, no, like you are expecting something from the audience to come, I don't know, to start talking about something, to start like thinking about something, to get more information about something. So really, really, really try to think about those things. I called it the so what effect. So if I finish reading your research proposal and I still have this feeling of so what? Why this is needed, then we have a problem. Okay? So think about that. Some extras that you want to keep in mind. Again, you have to cite all the literature through all the text, and the references that you're doing, the citations that you're doing are adequate. There is a realistic timeline. So these agencies, they do ask you for a timeline. I'm not asking you to put like a table, but maybe something nice to say is like in the methodology, I don't know, to achieve aim one, I will conduct interviews during summer 2025. That's a timeline. You're giving me some sort of idea of when these things are going to happen. Or you can tell me I will start my master's fall 2025. I will focus the first year in my courses, and in the second year, I will be doing this, this, and this. So you can tell me that. If you're already in Concordia, if you have a supervisor, you have an idea where you're going, I think you can mention it, and I will encourage you to mention, because that show you also a feasibility. Like if you have a supervisor that, I don't know, has collaborations with people in Toronto and you're going to be using Toronto, I don't know, galleries, archive, then it's important, it's relevant. It makes sound that you already have an idea and your supervisor has collaborations. So this is going to happen because the collaboration is there, your supervisor is supporting you. So really, really think about that. It's not heavy on jargon. I already say that many times. And it includes or mentions EDI aspects, race, gender, sex considerations, minorities. So more and more important is to include all this. And not only, for example, you're doing interviews or you're working with humans, okay, I'm gonna be focusing that. Even if you're working in fields that the race or the gender or sex, they're not relevant to your field, maybe what is relevant to your field is the outcome. You want to make an impact in these communities, you want to make an impact in these minorities. So really try to think a bit outside, and it follows the competition's guidelines. Okay? So once you have the research proposal, the last thing that I want you to do is the summary, the lay abstract, because they are going to ask you this. That's a 1800 characters maximum. And this is a brief summary. So everything that you wrote, the research proposal with the background, objectives, research question, methodology, and significance, you will have to summarize it in a small paragraph in a very, very lay way. This is very, I always say the same, the lay abstract, you have to think about it like, like if you get the award and then your picture is in the website with the lay abstract. So everyone should be able to read it. Not only people in the field, my mom should be able to read it and understand it. So really, really tone it down. These, don't put citations. It has to be very plain language for the public, for the general audience to understand. I feel that I talk a lot. Okay. You're welcome. Let's say how to enter to the system. Okay. So even if you're applying to SHARE or CIHR, one important thing to know about the CGS M is that this award is managed and centralized on the NSERC website. So all the links that I'm going to send it to you, they all will say Natural Science and Engineer Research Council of Canada. Do not get stressed, because here is where people from SHERC and CIHR and NSERC will have to apply. So in this website, you will have all the information, eligibility criteria, deadlines, application, selection criteria, and this is for all the agencies. Here you will have all the important links, how to create Canadian Commons CV, the research portal, and all the instructions to apply for this fellowship. Once you get into the research portal, as part of the application, you will be asked to indicate your top 3 preferred institutions where you're intending to do your master's, okay? So even if I didn't mention this, but there is an internal selection process at Concordia and in any university. This doesn't mean that you have to send us the application to us. This means that when you are creating the research portal, you have to put Concordia in one of your 3 preferred institutions. If you're already in the program, then you put Concordia. But if you haven't applied to any program, and let's say you want to apply to U of T, Concordia, and McGill, so you have to put the 3 universities in there. What's going to happen is in December 1st, when you submit, all the 3 universities are going to be able to retrieve your application. Okay, so if you put Concordia, we will be able to see your application and the internal process is going to happen. And then we will decide if we adjudicate you the award or not. Let's say April comes, you apply to the 3 universities, and then you get only accepted in McGill and Concordia. So U of T is out. Let's say U of T offered you the award. You cannot have it because U of T didn't accept you in the program. And let's say McGill didn't give you the award, but Concordia did. So you have to make the decision because if Concordia offer you the award, you cannot take it to McGill. You only can use your award with the university that was giving you the award, okay? You cannot change the location of the tenure. So if you apply to Concordia and you get the award in Concordia, perfect. You're coming to Concordia with the award. If you apply to McGill and you get the award from McGill, you cannot get it from McGill and come to Concordia. I hope that was clear. So this consideration for the CIHR applications, if you select CIHR, then you need an extra step that is obtaining the CIHR PIN. Don't worry, it's extremely easy, just like go to ResearchNet, log in, and then here I will put the link. So you just need to register for a CIHR PIN. This is how the research portal looks like. Once you are here, you have to create a new account if you haven't done it yet. Once you create a new account, here in the applicants section, you can create your application and you will have to choose Canada Graduate Scholarship Master's Program. Here they give you the end date. This is the deadline, so you have to click create, and this is how it looks like. So you have to start editing and attaching all the different files. Of course, at the beginning, you will have to edit your status, your identification. They will ask you all these things like universities. They will ask you start date of your degree or bachelor's, activity details. All this information has to go there. Once you finish this section, that is basically the online form, then you will have to start attaching things. The first one to attach is the outline of the proposed research. Once you click in there, then you see here you have the guidelines. So every time that you want to attach something, you will find the guidelines. So please read them. You see body text, minimum 12 points, Times New Roman, blah, blah, blah. You will have to upload it and save it, okay? Back to the application overview is saving this already. The second thing that you will have to attach are the transcripts. So this is basically one PDF with all your transcripts, as I say, bachelor's, master's, everything that you have done after high school and CEGEP. We do not need the CEGEP transcripts, only undergrad and above. And here's where you have to fill the information for the Canadian Commons CV. Once you put attach, you will see this section that here they ask you confirmation number. So if you remember when we were talking about the Canadian Commons CV, that you have that number that they gave you, here is where you have to fill that number and upload it. And that's gonna be linked, okay? So that's everything I have to do in this section, and that's it. And finally, the reference letter. So at the end, you have invitations, and it says must provide 2 references. So when you go here and manage invitations, you will see this website. Here is where you have to fill the information from your referees. You do not have to send them anything. I mean, when you're talking to them and then you're approaching, of course, you have to send them all the information. But how it works, you will have to you have to put the email, the family name, the role is references, and you can set their own deadline. Let's say the deadline for this application is December 1st. You can ask them to complete this reference letter, let's say by November 20, in case you want to apply before. So once you fill this and you click in invite, they will receive an email with a link. And once they click, for example, here I send my an invitation of a reference letter to myself, and it says invitation sent, but not yet accepted. So they have to accept, and then they will have to complete, okay? And here you will see all the invitation status, right? The status invitation sent but you're not accepted, and this is the definition. So once you also have invitation declined, but once the reference letter has been complete, you will see invitation accepted and completed, okay? You can also click here in resend in case that you want to resend the email if they miss it or you went to spam. A good idea is set an earlier deadline. So let's say November 20, but also send reminders, right? Like 1st November, you can send a reminder, say, hey, I sent you the invitation. Did you have it? Do you need any help? Do you need me to, I don't know, resend the email? So just make sure that the referee is replying and the reference is in before the deadline, okay? Once all the application is filled and you're happy and it's before December 1st, then you click submit, okay? And just with some advices, apply to everything that you can, even if you get rejected or if you don't get the award. This is an amazing experience for you guys. You are starting your master's. And you may get very overwhelmed and very lost. So writing a research proposal will really help you to get your ideas straight. It will ease what's going to happen in the future. So really, really try to get into this idea of like applying for different fundings. If you don't get this, there are other opportunities. As I say, the FRQ, the deadline passed, but you can apply about that next year. So keep an eye on that. The application checklist I give you here, again, please use it, like make sure that you have everything and really, really cross all the checklists. I give you a lot of different links that they might be useful for you. Another thing that I didn't add to these slides is I'm going to have, I don't remember the date, it's in November, a peer review session. So for those of you applying for this, that you want to have some feedback, you can come to the peer review session. We're going to do it online, and I'm going to pair you with someone else, another student. So you're going to able to give your research proposal, your draft to someone else. They will read it and they will provide feedback to you. And you're going to be doing the same. You're going to be reading the research proposal and you are going to be able to provide feedback to them. That's a very, very interesting exercise because it will help you to not only read other proposals, but to really understand how a reviewer works, how someone reading something from a completely different person looks like, okay? And what are the things that when you are reading a proposal, you will be looking for, you will be expecting for them to explain. So I will send you that information if you want it, but you can sign up the same way that you sign up for this workshop. This is our team. You can screen capture this one if you want. This is the email that from Catherine, and this is my email. You can contact us at any time, and we will be extremely happy to help you.